It's an honor to be here. I love these players. I love Coach Pittman. I'm thankful for the opportunity to be here, be a part of this program, his program, this university. And, every day we're working to make these guys better young men, make them better players, to win championships, and make this fan base and this state proud. First and foremost, it's different here. And so that's why I came. And I believe in Coach, and really, really excited about what we are building every day here. I thought we had an outstanding summer. Really, really excited where we're at. But I'm not satisfied where we're at. You know what I'm saying? We're here to get better every single day. We're going to push the envelope with that. But we made a lot of strides. We've gotten faster. We got 36% of our guys that wear the GPS that can run 21 miles an hour and faster. You got 5 guys that can run 22 faster, and then 60. What I got here? We got 61% of our team that can run over 20 miles an hour. That's everybody. I'm talking about O-line, D-line, tight ends, and your skills. You got over half your team being able to run 20. So got faster. Strength numbers went up. Very pleased. The gains that we made, the camaraderie, the togetherness that we've accomplished. But we got to turn it up a notch as we get here in training camp.
Coach, another guy that we've watched make some transformations with weight since he's been here. He was like 390 when he got here. Devon Manuel, you weren't here yet, but he's kind of gone down each year. I'm curious, what did his weight get down to at his lowest point, and what is he at now, and what is the progress that he's made?
So, Devin got down pretty low. He came in pretty high, dropped a lot of weight, got down to about 282, but he weighed stuff going on with his body. We had to figure some things out that was kind of irritating. His stomach wasn't resting very well too. We got that figured out. And like I said, he got pretty low to about 282, 284, and now he's back up to 310. And our goal is to keep him around that 315, 318 mark as we, embark on this season.
Bo squat like 700 pounds. I'm curious, any other freaks in the weight room? I know you got a few, but anybody that just jumps off the page?
Yeah. Well, staying with the linemen, from a squat standpoint, I think a really good guy that probably don't get a lot of notice is Brooks Edmondson. He squatted 615, could have done more. 625. Patrick Kudus, who's, fighting for a starting job. He's a 600-pound squatter. Tank Booger, who came from us from Maryland, got significantly stronger. He's squatting 645, 65, 655. And you know what? To be honest, some of those guys could have done more. Some of y'all just see the video of Bo. It's kind of hard to see in person. Bo could have done more. But at the end of the day, I need Bo to be the starting center. It comes to a point where there's a juice worth the squeeze, and I had to fight. I kind of fought him to do it because he hit 675 so easy. And so he's like, Coach, let me hit something. Please let me, and Bo's a workout warrior. And so grateful for that because he leads by example. We need that up front in the trench, guys like that. But, could have done more, but at the same time, I need to play football, but guys like that, Chris Paul, kid just left, made a lot of gains. I mean, he's squats in the mid 500s. He's a 340, 345 cleaner, benching over 365, had a really good off season. He went from 215, start of off season, he weighed in at 231. So you're looking at a guy put on 15, 16 pounds. That's going to play a lot of plays for us. So he's running in the 21. So, I mean, you talk about another guy that's put on weight, gotten stronger and gotten faster. All you guys sitting in this room, you know how this league is, man. Like, you can't play linebacker at 215 and run 20 mile an hour and only be able to be a subpar squatter. You got to check all the boxes. And so we're trying to push that envelope, every day. And but we had several guys. And those are just a few. Rocket Sanders, got to use really good judgment, especially as the summer wraps up, because as you guys know, you get 4 or 5 days off, and then we're practicing. So if I got a guy that's got to, strain back, well, now he can't take reps. So what does that do? That affects the team. So just making good judgment. But Rocket really, I mean, his power, he took his power clean from like 305 to 310 to like 350 the last 9-10 weeks. He squats mid 500s, could have done more, but once again, you get to ends mean, right? Like it's time to play ball. And so he's strong enough, really increased his speed. He's in the high 20s, like 20.93. So he's on the verge of 21. So we had a really good summer. That's just to name a few, that, like you said, that stick out.
Bo, was that a goal of his all off season to get to 700? I mean, what's it like kind of working with these guys and working on their goals that they set in the summer, and then they, get to the fall and they achieve them?
Yeah. Well, it's great because, and I hate referencing the video, but you watch the video, notice how the room is. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, Bo's excited, but what about the other 45, 50 guys that are right there cheering him on? You know what I mean? And just as excited as he was to hit it, and that's where I think we've made a lot of ground is culture. Everybody wants to talk about culture. That's our standard. Our culture is our standard, so do I think it was a goal? Yes. Do I think he had that in mind? I don't know. I know the goal for us when I sit down with Bo when I got the job is obviously he's a strong guy and he wanted to continue to get stronger. So once we hit, I think because last year I think he hit around 650, 660, and then to come back, and I mean he's played a lot of plays for the Hogs, but to be able to come back doing the amount of volume of running that we did, because I ran them a lot, we ran them a lot, but to still hit that is very impressive.
You mentioned pretty early in his, pre-camp press conference about the strides in nutrition, and you mentioned it too. What are some of the specific things like you've been working on with the guys when it comes to, diet and making sure they're eating the right things?
First, I think it comes with education. Miss Brooks, she's our head dietitian in football. So once, twice a week, we always do continued education on the back end of our training sessions to educate our guys on what and how they should be eating, how they should be recovering. So, putting 5 to 10 minutes on that every, two times a week, and you do that all off season for 16 weeks. You say it enough, hopefully things stick. And I think, like I said, our guys, they want to be great. They want to improve. They want to get better. So I think education would be number one. And I think number two would be us holding them accountable. We're making them go eat, we're having breakfast club. We're making sure guys are drinking their shakes, post training sessions. We're checking in with them at night, making sure they're eating, especially if they're a weight gain or a weight loss guys. So I would say those two would be the biggest thing, is the education and then the accountability behind it.
Coach, you mentioned early on that I think you said 60% of the team hit 20 miles an hour, and maybe 31% hit 21. What were those percentages like when you first took over? Like how much had they increased, if you know that?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't know. I can get that to Kyle, but I do know this: we have doubled the amount of guys that are running 21, and we only had one guy last year run 22. So we've improved. We inherited a good situation, so it's not like I came in this big bad thing. And the staff before us did a really, really good job. We just we do every staff does a little things different. For our skill guys, we wanted to get them bigger and stronger, but obviously put an emphasis on speed. Right, speed. In this league, speed kills, especially at your skill position. Explosive plays. Typically, the team that's got the most explosive plays in a game are the most successful teams that end up winning the game. So we put a big premium on that. He hit 22. Tyrone Broden, Isaiah Satania, Andrew Armstrong, and who's the fifth guy? Malik Chavez. So there's your five. So, well, winning's in the details, you know, and when you play in this league, and I know I keep going back, but I've been in this league twice. It's winning's in the details. It really is. That's nothing's guaranteed, right? Only two things in life guaranteed. That's death and taxes. But, you know, if you don't do those things, then you know you don't have a chance. We got to give ourselves a chance, and putting a premium on finishing, doing things right, attention to detail, the discipline, the accountability, is going to pay off. You know, when I can't tell you, but I do know this: the tighter the games and the more important the games are, that's when that stuff shows up. I love Coach. I'm forever grateful for this opportunity. You know, I wake up every day trying to earn his trust. You know, that's my number one goal. I want him to feel like he can trust me, and his staff, our staff can trust me. But it's unbelievable. You're not going to find a better man who truly cares, who's genuine, that wants the best for our players, our staff, good work-life balance. You know, nobody's going to put more pressure on us than ourselves. Our coaches, myself, we put more pressure on ourselves than anybody could. So that's not the issue, but just the way he treats everybody and how he genuinely cares. You know, when he offered me the job, as soon as he hung up, he FaceTimed my wife. Like that number one tells you, you know, what kind of person he is and what he stands for.
Coach, I remember when Bo came in, everybody was talking just how naturally strong he was as a freshman. I'm curious, and not just with strength, but maybe jumping, speed, all the things. Is there a freshman like that just kind of jumps out to you?
For you talking more like O line, D line, or just in general?
Any or both?
Yeah,
whatever you want to say.
You know, we had a lot of really good freshmen. All our DBs that came in mid-year, man, I'll tell you what, they know how to work. We just had to clean up some detail things and some technical stuff, but they all came in ready to work. Trying to think who else. You know, summer wise, I'll tell you a guy that really has done a really good job and has made a lot of strides is Quincy Rhodes. You know, he came in at, I think he was 273, 274. He weighed in yesterday for camp, 289, and he's been 288, 289 the rest of the summer. But put on weight, looks the part. Has done a really, really good job. He comes to mind. Isaiah Augustive. He is going to be really, really special. Moves really, really well. Really, really strong for his size. Really, really impressed with him. Davion Dozier. He can run. I thought he did a really, really nice job today. Showed some of our older guys that, I mean, he can potentially help us right off the bat. Who else? Shamar Easter. All right, he's done a really, really nice job. I didn't know how he could really run. I mean, kid ran like 21.7. I mean, it's pretty good as tight end, right? I mean, because you're going to be in this league, it's going to typically be a safety or a backer on a tight end. So that creates an advantage for us. So that's a few guys that kind of stick out. But very, very fortunate. I'll say this: there's not one guy that came in where I'm like, oh man, like we got to work. I mean, they came out where they came from, their high school coaches, their programs, whether it be their strength coach or whoever that does the program, have done a really, really nice job and has really accelerated their help for us.
Well, I saw some of his post-spring testing numbers jumping and weights and all that stuff. What are your thoughts on him and just his physical attributes?
Man, he's a freak show. He's a freak show. I'm glad we got him and nobody else did. But I mean, you're talking, I think he's like a 5'15" squatter, you know, at 215 pounds. He's running high 21s. He cleaned 335. Could have probably done a little bit more. I think he hit 350 or 355 on his bench. So, I mean, you're talking about a receiver now. The best thing about that kid is he shows up and he works like it's his last day every day. And what that does is elevates the whole room. You know, elevates not only his position group, with the DBs, everybody. I mean, it does, and it sticks out. But unbelievable kid, unbelievable human being, and we're lucky to have him. So every Friday morning we went early, and here's why. Number two reasons: we went in the afternoon because I wanted to be hot and I wanted to be tough. Right? This program is built on toughness. The only way to be tough is to do tough things. So we challenge them every day in some sort of fashion, competitive stuff. But we're gonna run out in the heat. Flip side is obviously we're gonna play some early morning games, right? We play the noon game, so or 11 here. So being able to get them up and get them to work and work together, we did that every Friday. So we didn't do it as much as we did in the afternoon. But we did do stuff in the morning, but we did that all off season. So, I mean, we still did that for 16 weeks where so I guess we'd have 16 sessions that we went early in the morning,
What time?
6 a.m.
I wanted to ask you about a couple of different players. One is Marion Harris. He's kind of like Manuel in that he's lost a lot of weight and is trying to gain it back. Where is he in that process?
He's back up. He dropped a little bit, got in low 280s. He was 293 yesterday. So he's back on the up. We're making it a very, very demanding for him as we check all his meals, make sure he's eating, forcing stuff down him, although I know he doesn't like it. But you win in the trench. You win in the trench. O-line and D-line, you went up front. And he showed in the bowl game his ability, right? Played really, really well for us in the bowl game. And I think that gave him a lot of confidence. Now we got to take his confidence along with his performance and keep building it.
One of the numbers that stood out when we looked at the roster was that Rocket's up to 242 pounds. Sam was saying that it's all muscle for him. Do you see him at the same speed that he was when you came in?
He's actually faster, right at 21 mile an hour. Last year he touched like 20.03, so he gained one. But you talk about running back, right? We hit the hole and he gets a stretch. That's the difference between maybe a 25 or 30-yard run or a 50-yard touchdown, which goes back to explosive plays. So, but Rocket, man, unbelievable kid, unbelievable human being. Always early, always comes to work, stays late, comes in and does extra rehab with our strength staff. I mean, it's like if you could model a guy that you want your son to be after, that would be the guy. I mean, he just does everything right, class act, and but a guy you talk about going back to the tight end room, Luke Haas, he was 221, now he's 241, so he's put on 20 pounds. I'm sure most of y'all were at practice today. You can kind of see that, right, in his legs and in his upper body. He's put on weight. He's got to be that way to play in this league consistently, week in, week out. He's going to be a big factor for us. Gum transferred from North Texas. Believe it or not, he hit 20. He hit 22. We think it was a malfunction because he's consistently hit high 21s. Not saying he couldn't, but you look at that kid. He came in at 2. We got him at the beginning of summer. It was 231. Got up to 243, running high 21s. That's mismatches. Francis Sherman, he was with us at Louisville. So I know what tough kid, blue collar stands for, everything that we want in our program. Strong kid. I mean, you're looking at 365 bench, squats 500, 335 on the clean, So I tell you, Nathan Bax had a really good offseason. His weight didn't change, but his body type changed. He lost about 3 or 4% body fat. So I'm excited about that group. I really am. They push each other. The thing I really like about that group is they complement one another. As you guys know, in competition, whatever it is you do, business, sports, whatever it may be, you got to watch for those people behind your back trying to maybe stab you. They all want the best for each other. And so what does that do? It makes the room so much better. But Tyrus had an unbelievable spring, changed his body, gotten stronger, added some muscle mass, dropped some fat, especially in the midsection. So really excited about that group.
You mentioned a few players who have gained a significant amount of weight, but you've said they've also increased their speed. I know it probably varies by person, but what's the key to being able to do that?
effort, consistent effort, you know, and that's what we preach every day in our program is everybody can be great one day. Can you be great every day? Can you be good every day? Because that's what a lot of people can't do. They can't back it up the next day and the next day and the next day. So consistent effort on their part. I think the way that we structured the training program, so that they can handle certain loads, certain doses appropriate, to build up to hit those certain speeds. I think the recovery part, which is twofold, goes back to our athletic training staff, our staff,